So, when I'm driving, I usually listen to NPR. Yesterday, I heard a broadcast titled How the 1965 Immigration Act Made America a Nation of Immigrants. It featured Tom Gelton, who is a consultant for NPR. I will leave a link to the program in the description. It's about 36 minutes long. One of the things he said in the program is that the terminology used to describe the U.S. is being incorrectly changed. This is hinted at in the program's title. Let's have a listen.
And we have now seen lately a really quite a remarkable change in the way that people talk about this problem. You've used and I use the term that we are a nation of immigrants. There is now a feeling among some quarters of the population that we actually are not a nation of immigrants. We are a nation of settlers. There's this idea that the people that built this country were not actually immigrants, they were settlers or pioneers or conquerors. The idea of an immigrant is a whole different concept. It assumes that people are coming to a country that is already built, that is already established, that already has a character, that has already demonstrated its power, its prosperity, its success, and people want to become a part of that. So you are now seeing, particularly on the right, this distinction between immigrants and settlers and what kind of country we are. I think for the first time really since the 1960s, we've seen overt opposition to the very idea of immigrants from other parts of the world coming to this country, taking advantage of what the original Americans built. That is, to me, alarming.
So he has written a book on the subject of immigration, yet he doesn't know the definitions of some key words he is using. Here's Wikipedia's definition of immigrant. An immigrant is a person who legally moves to another country. Here's Wikipedia defining immigrant. Person who moves to a country. Here's Wikipedia defining settler. We see that it says a settler is a person who has migrated to an area and established a permanent residence there, often to colonize the area. Settlers are generally from a sedentary culture. There is maybe a little ambiguity here, but I personally have not, at least until the last few years, when this whole wall business got kicked off, I've never heard the word settler used synonymously with the word immigrant. Let's take a look at colonist while we're here. A colonist is a settler. So this whole notion that we are a country of immigrants doesn't make sense to me. I mean, the definitions are just wrong. There is a difference between a person who says, I am going to go and find some untamed land and make my own way in this world, and a person who says, the way I'm living right now, it's not working out. Let me move to this country over here and see if things get better for me. That's two different things. You could maybe say we are a country of migrants from around the world, but to say that we are a country of immigrants is to say that the majority of the people who are in the U.S. now came here after this country was established. Well, I was born here, and the majority of people in the country today are native-born Americans. I hear people shouting at me right now that my ancestors immigrated to the U.S. Well, I can trace my ancestry back to the Founding Fathers. So my ancestors are among the people who founded this country. So this notion that we are a nation of immigrants, so we should just let everybody in, is not accurate. Furthermore, we can't let everybody come here. We can't let 1 billion people come to the U.S. to have a better life. If we did that, we would not have the high standard of living that we have today. And I get that this is tragic. Many people in the world are going through right now is awful stuff. And they would be better off if they could come here. But we can't save the world. We can show the world a better way. But not everybody who needs help can come here. We are already the third most populated country in the world. There is only so much land we can share with the rest of the world. Now, before you get angry and start yelling about how I'm a Bible thumping right wing nut job who wants to make sure the government keeps their hands off my guns, let me assure you, I don't own any guns. I think most people would consider me left wing. I think we need universal health care, for example. I am convinced that humans are contributing the lion's share to climate change. I am an atheist, a position that is claimed to be generally part of the left wing. My wife immigrated to the U.S. and she is not white. I am simply against mass immigration. Maybe bring a few thousand people here a year. That'd probably be all right. But bringing millions of people here every year, that's replacement numbers. If you want to bring them from a country that's in line with the United States, says, yeah, let's do the same things the United States has been doing all these years, great. Let's do that. One other thing I want to say about this broadcast before I let you go is that the host, Dave Davies, makes the claim that millions of Africans were forced to immigrate to the U.S.
We should note, of course, there was the forced migration in bondage of, millions of Africans brought here as slaves, of course.
Now, this set off alarm bells in my head. On the world stage, the U.S. was a relatively small player in the slave trade. There were an estimated 10.6 million slaves brought from Africa to North and South America. Let's take a look. Wikipedia says about 350,000 were brought to North America. Well, Wikipedia is often claimed to be inaccurate, so here's another website. Let's see what it says. Well, there you go. And just to be clear, Mr. Davies, 350,000, 388,000 is smaller than even 1 million. So, thank you all for watching. This has been The Ordeal. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next time.